Hey, this is Bob, and I'm here to do like a quick layer breakdown of my most recent photo manipulation at the request of some people because they wanted to see how I did it. This is in no way, form, or fashion a tutorial. Yeah, I'm not going in depth to how I did most of the effects. I'm just gonna, show you like the progression and whatnot. Well, this is a picture my friend Jerry Garcia took of Evelyn, and he pretty much wanted a princess-like setting. The main issue I had with the picture was two main issues actually. The first one that didn't really bug me that much was it was slightly overexposed. I could fix that easily, but the second one was the aperture. It was really shallow, so I didn't have that much leverage to work with. Right? You can see like everything in the foreground is kind of like out of focus. The background is out of focus as well. So I couldn't really do that much with the setting that she's in. So the first thing I did was I took her out of the background and just masked everything out around her. And I didn't really like the color of her dress because I did some minor color correction. I mean, yeah, some color correction, changed the color temperature, and I brought her exposure down and I reapplied the color of the dress from the original picture. And I I really didn't know what type of setting I wanted to put her in. I tried different settings. These are some of my unused layers. I'm not gonna go too much into detail, but I ended up finding this picture and I thought it worked really well. So I put that in there. Um, I adjusted the levels of it just to bring the levels down with the curves layer. Also added a tree, and I added some Gaussian blur to make it seem like it's in the foreground. And I also kind of darkened out this area of the tree because I felt it was too distracting for me. And by the way that I'm progressing through the layers is not necessarily the order that I designed it in. That's just the order that the layers are in. So I found some pictures of some stock images of some fairies or whatever, and I threw them in there. What I did to get the glow, I duplicated this layer. Um, I did a color overlay. I'm just gonna do red. Let me hide this and rasterize, filter, blur, Gaussian blur, whatnot. Then did a linear dodge and brought the opacity down. That's kind of how I mainly do my glow, which is what I did for this one. And I added some sparkles or whatever. Pretty much the same thing for all these other fairies or whatnot. And as you can see right here, this is like really funky looking green lines. What that is actually the grass that was actually in the original setting. It looks weird because it's out of focus. It's a shallow depth of field. So what I did to hide that, I kind of made my own grass to kind of hide that, so it doesn't look weird. And I brought the levels down a little bit just to make it look more natural. And this is where it really gets interesting. This is what really gives it that emotion and feel. I did a gradient map. This is my gradient color or whatever, and I set it to soft light, so it's not too dramatic. Also did a gradient field to kind of blur out, kind of like a vignette, pretty much, to blur out the edges or darken the edges. And for this flare right here, there's this plugin that I use. It's called No Light Factor. It's pretty awesome. Uh, Paint this black. And this is pretty much the flare that I used. Just give it a moment here. So I didn't really like the way the rays were too harsh. So I did a quick filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Just kind of soften the rays here a little bit and set that to, I think, linear dodge it was. That gives it a nice soft sunlight ray thing, funky thing going on, whatever. And I did some minor color work to it to get it to the right feel that I wanted. And this right here, the particle thingy, it's actually a picture of a fire ember. Unfortunately, I can't find the original stock image that I used, but it's a picture of a fire ember. It's just like a like fire. It's like a bonfire particle thing going on, and I set that to linear dodge, and that gave me like a really nice surrealistic particle thingy going on. Same for these. It's pretty much the same image. I just scaled it up a little bit and blurred it to make it look like it's in the foreground. And same with this as well. But this one, it's kind of, the opacity is a little bit low. And the finishing touch that I added on it was I made it a little bit sharper. You might not be able to notice it, but there is a difference. If I zoom in real quickly, it's being a little bit slow. You can see like the particles are a little bit sharper. Her face is a little bit sharper. Just a nice touch to it. And I set that the main way I did it. Create a new layer. Image, apply image. Other, like a high pass or whatnot. Then you set the blending mode to overlay, and that gives it some added sharpness. But try not to overdo it, because you're gonna start noticing some noise and artifacts if you add too much to it. Delete that. This photo manipulation is not really complicated compared to like other stuff. Like I only had I think like 20 layers max, or 25 layers maximum for this one, compared to like my other photo manipulations where I'll just have like hundreds, like just tons and tons of layers. So this one was fairly easy, and I think it turned out pretty good. I might do like a speed art video, because that might go into depth of more of how I do my photo manipulations, and probably inspire somebody or whatnot. But that might come in the near future, maybe in the upcoming weeks or whatever. But hopefully this was somewhat helpful. I know I suck at explaining stuff, but hopefully you learned something, and you can probably apply it to your own photo manipulations. Well, that's it for me.